now hear the case of Adele Wells, administratrix of the estate of Dr. Sam Wells versus American Life Insurance Company. What do you say to the plaintiff? The witnesses Deputy Sheriff Clarence Williams. These following witnesses, please step forward up here from the bench. Dr. Daniel Cohen. Norman Crowe. William Burns. Would counsel for the plaintiff and defendant approach the bench, please? Just one. Well, please, with counsel.
death certificate says that Dr. Wells died in an accidental shotgun blast.
Now, are you familiar with Dr. Wells' practice?
Yes, I am.
And would you please tell us how Mr. Wells was doing?
He had a good practice.
And what do you mean by good practice?
Well, he had many patients. It was extensive, and I often consulted him with certain cases.
Would you please tell us of any other relationship to Dr. Wells other than a professional?
Well, he was a good friend of mine.
And when did you last see Dr. Wells?
The day before his death.
And what were you doing?
We were running errands, and we met in town.
And how did Dr. Wells seem at the time?
Well, he was his normal self, joking and in a good, cheerful mood.
You said that you examined Dr. Wells twice yearly.
Yes.
Could you please tell the court what physical condition he was in?
He was 6'2", 200 pounds, 50 years old, in good condition.
Would you please tell us of Dr. Wells' reputation in your community?
Well, he was a very religious and moral man. He was on the school board and on the vestry of the local Episcopal church.
Would your friendship in any way affect your professional decision?
No, because I was trained to, in a professional way, and not let personal matters get in the way.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Cross-examine this witness.
Yes.
How long have you practiced medicine, Dr. Holmes?
20 years.
Would you consider yourself good friends with Dr. Wells?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you were appointed to the job of assistant coroner?
Yes.
In a case like this, doesn't it seem to you that the head coroner should go to the house?
Well, the sheriff called me, and Miss Wells asked the sheriff to bring me over, so I went over there.
When did you last examine Dr. Wells?
I examined him on the day of his death, and my investigations and autopsies lasted until the 14th.
When did you last examine him before that? Before his death?
Oh, you mean physical examination? I don't know, pretty recent before that.
Was he in good health?
Yes, he was.
Isn't it true that Dr. Wells told you that it was a secret ambition of his
Your
to be
Honor,
100 years
counsel's
old?
question is based on hearsay.
Mr. Brooks, Finch.
Sit down. Sorry. Calling.
Was it a secret ambition of Dr. Wells to live to be 100 years old?
Yes, it was.
And isn't it true that if Dr. Wells had planned this suicide all along, that he could have been
Your Honor.
misleading you?
Counsel is asking for a direct conclusion from the witness. Thank you, Your Honor.
Isn't it true if Dr. Wells had planned this suicide all along that he could have been misleading you to think it was an accident?
Well, he was a good friend of mine, so I trusted him.
Did you find a suicide note?
No, I didn't.
Isn't it true that a person trying to deceive an insurance company would not leave a suicide note?
Your Honor, that's out of the witness's personal knowledge.
See, if I'm allowed the witness to answer whether he knows that in his state or not.
Thank you.
Isn't it true that a person trying to deceive an insurance company would not leave a suicide note?
I think so.
Was Dr. Wells an experienced hunter?
Yes.
And why would an experienced hunter at any time be looking down the barrel of a gun?
To see if it was clean.
And if Dr. Wells is so experienced, doesn't it seem to you that before cleaning a gun, he would first check the chamber to see if there was a shell in the gun?
Well, everyone makes mistakes. And maybe he just forgot from a past hunting trip.
But he was real experienced.
Yeah.
You said you spotted tissue 4 to 5 feet above the floor. Is this right?
Yeah, about 5.
And Deputy Williams told you the shot was fired upwards.
Yeah.
And how tall was Dr. Wells?
6 foot 2 inches.
How could a shot fired upwards into the head of a man 6 feet 2 have landed 4 to 5 feet above the floor?
Well, I figured he was probably sitting down and kneeling.
Kneeling on the floor?
Yeah.
Why couldn't he just sit on the desk or in a chair?
I don't know.
He's 50 years old, this man.
Yeah.
And sitting on the floor, 50 years old?
Well, he was in great physical condition.
Okay. And isn't it true you found an 8 to 10-inch screwdriver laying on the floor?
Yes, I did.
And shouldn't a man 6 feet 2 have long enough arms to hold the gun to his head and push the trigger with an 8 to 10-inch screwdriver?
Well, yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Is there anything on redirect?
No, Your Honor.
This witness is to be excused. You want to call your next witness, please?
Witness called, this is Del Wells.
You can have a seat right before. Raise your right hand. You swear firmly to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Stand over there and speak up for the jury of the hearing.
Please say name. This is Del Wells. Is Dr. Sam Wells your husband? Yes. How long were you married? We have been married for 1 to 2 years. Did something happen on February 12, 1985? Yes, I saw my husband on the floor of our library. How did you come to find your husband? Well, after I drove our neighbor to work, I stopped at the groceries, picked up a few things, and when I came home, I called for Sam several times, and he didn't answer, and so I knocked on his library door. He still didn't. Then what did you do? Well, I entered the library. What did you see? I saw Sam lying on the floor. What did you do? Well, I ran over and felt his head. It was cold, so I knew he was dead. And then what? Your Honor, well, I called. You can't find a witness to speak out.
Can y'all please speak up so everyone can hear you?
I called Deputy Sheriff Clarence Williams and requested that he bring Dr. Cohen over because of what happened. Did they come? Yes. What did they do when they arrived? Well, they entered the library and examined him. Could you tell the court what Sam was wearing at the time of his death? He was wearing his usual hunting clothes and the brown jacket I gave him for Christmas. What else, if anything, was in the library? There were cleaning materials on his desk, and I found some stock certificates. When did you last see your husband alive? That morning at breakfast. How did you see him? It's in his usual mood. Happy. When was the last time you saw this? The night before when we had dinner together around 6:30 p.m. as usual. And he was in good spirits and cheerful. Miss Wells, what was your reason for coming home after your outing? Oh, Sam needed a truck for an appointment at 10. And did you know of your husband's financial affairs? No, I did not. Sam always took care of me and our financial affairs. Did you learn of anything after your husband's death? Yes, I found 3 life insurance policies, 2 of which pay me the full amount for accidental death, and the 3rd, the American Life Insurance policy, which won't. No. This document
Do you have any objections to this? He's so introduced as claims exhibit E. You want to refer to it, all right? Leave that there. Refer to it further.
Your Honor, we'd like to see the life insurance policy.
All right. Before I introduce my lady, Sam's policy, say, do you have any objections?
recognize the document?
Yes, it's the American Life Insurance policy.
Can you describe the policy?
Yes, face value is $50,000 and the accidental death would be $100,000.
You know when this policy was taken out?
Yes, November 2nd, 1995.
And what did you do when you found this document?
Well, I called the American Life Insurance Company and they sent over Mr. Stevenson and he explained it all to me and told me the company would get back to me.
What happened?
They wouldn't pay me the full amount for accidental death.
None. I have to come to the TV and can you tell the court what the value of your home is?
It's $45,000 with bank loan of $15,000 and our home is collateral, so we still have $30,000 left in our house.
can you tell me of any other assets?
Yes, in our checking account we have $1,200 and in our savings we have $500.
Thank you. Careful.
Cross-examination.
After you found Dr. Wells' body in the library, didn't you call Deputy Sheriff Williams?
Yes.
And you asked him to call Assistant Coroner Dr. Cohen, is that right?
Yes.
And didn't you do this because you and Dr. Wells have been good friends with Deputy Williams and Dr. Cohen?
Yes, we didn't know who else to call.
Isn't it true that Dr. Wells never discussed business or financial affairs with you?
Yes.
Then isn't it also true that your husband could have had large debts that you had no knowledge of?
It could be possible.
And therefore he could have been under a great deal of pressure to pay these debts that you would not have known of it. Isn't that right?
Maybe.
Dr. Wells had a life insurance policy with the American company. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And how much did you receive from the company?
Well, they said they would pay me the premium, $150.
The American company, not the American life insurance company.
I thought you were talking about the American Life Insurance.
The American company. I'd like to introduce this deposition into evidence as defendant's exhibit A.
Purpose of the introduction of this deposition. Let the counsel approach the bench, please. If you would approach the bench, please.
Mrs. Wells, would you read?
In addition to the life insurance policy with the American company, my husband had a $10,000 life insurance policy that he had purchased right after we were married. He sent me a check for the full amount with double indemnity, but I felt enough.
So, how much did you receive from the American company?
Your Honor, the counsel's line of questioning is relevant to the facts.
Approach the bench.
Dr. Wells lock the door to the library when he was, in education? And wasn't the door locked when you left that morning? Yeah. Was there anyone other than Dr. Wells in the library that morning? No, but at breakfast he told me he had some work to do. When did he lock the door? After he was locked. On what occasion? You said he locked it when there was a patient or a doctor in there. Was there anyone other than him in the library? No. Thank you. Further questions?
Anything on redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Excuse Ms. Wells, you have a seat for you. Plan to have any other witnesses that wish to call?
No, Your Honor.
Is that the case for the plaintiff? Is that the case for the plaintiff? Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And wish to call its first witness?
Your Honor, we'd like to call Mr. James B. Stevenson.
James B. Stevens. Please have a seat. Please speak up so everyone can hear.
State your name, please.
Mr. James B. Stevenson.
What is your occupation?
I'm the general manager of American Life Insurance Company
How long have you known Dr. Wells?
for about 5 years.
When did Dr. Wells contact you about getting life insurance?
October 19th.
And what was his reason?
Said he was getting older and needed significant protection for his wife,
Who is the beneficiary of this policy?
Adele Wells.
How did the insurance company proceed after Dr. Wells was found dead?
Our investigation revealed suicide as cause of death. Also,
Your Honor,
The witness is telling the court the ultimate issue, and that is for the jury to decide.
You have a response to that? Do you have anything you want to argue in response to that?
the witness is an expert. He is an expert in insurance.
My interpretation of the rules set out in the rules of the trial are that any opinion by even experts are not to be allowed if it is going to the ultimate issue. So I will strike that last response, and I will advise the jury not to consider the testimony or consider the statement, the last statement made by these witnesses. You are not to consider that in arriving at your verdict. You may proceed.
Your Honor, may I see the case exhibit here?
Plaintiff's exhibit.
Mr. Stevenson, do you recognize this document which is marked as plaintiff's exhibit E for identification?
yes, I do.
Is this insurance policy the same one you issued Dr. Wells?
Yes, except for on the left-hand margin in black ink, there are check marks.
Please show the jury these marks. Mr. Stevenson, what are the sections indicated by the marks have to do with?
Suicide of insured and benefit in the event of an accidental death.
When did you last see Dr. Wells while he was living?
February 11th.
And what did he want?
He wanted to see if the policy had loan value.
What was his reason for asking for this loan?
He said he needed $6,000 and he needed it desperately by noon.
And were you able to loan Dr. Wells this money?
No, I was not.
Mr. Stevenson, did Dr. Wells bring the policy to you on February the 11th?
Yes, he did.
Were the marks on the policy then?
No, they were not.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Counsel, plan for action.
Cross examine.
Yes, Your Honor. You work for the American Life Insurance Company, do you not?
Yes, I do.
And you've been working for them for 12 years?
Yes.
And you issued Dr. Wells' policy. When was this?
It was October 19th that he set an appointment to talk, and I issued it to him on November the 2nd.
Did he pay his premium?
Yes, one premium was $650.
Did he owe you any premiums at the time of his death?
No.
What was doctor's health at the time you issued the policy?
I do not know. I'm not a doctor.
Was it normal for a man his age to ask, obtain additional life insurance?
Well, he told me he was getting older and he needed some significant protection for his wife.
What kind of policy did you issue him?
5-year, $50,000 term policy.
Have you issued this kind of policy before?
Yes.
Do you normally pay them?
Would you repeat the
Do
question?
you normally pay them?
Pay them.
Yes, pay them when they are brought to you or premiums are brought to you on this kind of policy.
They normally pay me. What are you talking about?
When someone dies and they have this policy, do you normally pay them when they?
Well, our investigation will go
Okay.
in and investigate and reveal if it's suicide or accidental or whatever.
Can you explain to the court what a term life policy is?
Well, the term policy is a policy that you have for like a year. If you you pay your premium for that year and it has no long value.
Isn't it a fact that you didn't bring any carrot marks to the attention of Mrs. Wells?
No.
That you never asked her who put them there?
No, but they were not on the policy on February 11th when Dr. Wells brought it to me.
So you just assumed Dr. Wells put them there?
Well, I guess he did. I didn't.
You just answered the question.
I assume he did.
But you really don't know who put them there. That Mrs. Wells or a friend of hers could have put them there, maybe even someone in your office.
No. She had the policy.
Well, she could have put them there, couldn't she?
Well, she could have. I don't know.
Okay, that's all, Your Honor.
Anything on redirect?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Do you handle supplemental insurance case for each year as general manager of American Life?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Stevenson, in your opinion, as an insurance agent, if a person commits suicide and wants it to look like an accident,
Your
is that
Honor,
person...
we understand that the witness is an expert in the field of insurance, but he's not qualified to determine the state of mind of that person at the time of death.
I'm going to overrule the objection without question.
Mr. Stevenson, in your opinion as an insurance agent, if a person commits suicide and wants it to look like an accident, would that person leave a suicide note?
No, they would not.
No further questions.
Step down, you can see. Defendant wishes to call his next witness, please.
I'd like to call Mr. Norman F. Crowe.
Norman Crowe.
Norman.
Stop right here, please, sir, and raise your right hand. And you swear to reveal the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Please have a seat and speak up for the truth.
State your name, please.
Norman F. Crowe.
And what is your occupation, Mr. Crowe?
I'm a stockbroker with the American Bank Building.
How long have you known Dr. Wells?
Since childhood.
What business dealings did you have with him?
Well, he bought and sold stock through me.
What was the last stock transaction you had with him?
August 8th of 1984.
What was this transaction?
Well, he bought 1,000 shares of Guess Oil Company at $20 a share.
In your expert opinion, was this a good move by Dr. Wells?
Your Honor, counsel hasn't established that Mr. Crowe as an expert in this field.
I'll sustain the objections and allow any further questions regarding qualifications.
I would like to identify Mr. Norman F. Crowe as an expert in the field.
Questions you want to ask him to qualify himself, allow you to ask him as to his qualification before he can give an answer to that question.
What was the last contact you had with Dr. Wells?
It was the morning that he died
And how did he contact you?
by phone.
Could you describe the conversation, please?
Yes, the doctor was very shaky and very upset. He was very full of fear, and he stated that he needed to borrow money, and he needed it very badly.
Did you lend him the money?
No, I did not.
And how long did you talk to him?
Approximately 5 minutes.
And how long after you talked to Dr. Wells did he die?
It was about a half hour.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Cross, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, may I confer with my colleague?
I don't think there's anything for doing that. I'll allow you to raise your comment.
Is it true that Dr. Wells had borrowed money from you before?
Yes, he had on several occasions, yes.
And isn't it true that Dr. Wells didn't know you had sent at the time of his death?
No, he did not owe me a thing.
And, referring to the call, didn't he say he was going to look for the money elsewhere?
Yes.
That's all he wanted.
Got anything on redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Tell us again, please, Mr. Crowe, did you lend this money to Dr. Wells?
No, I did not.
If you would have lent this money to Dr. Wells, what kind of financial state would you be in right now?
Well, I'd be out $6,000.
And once again, how long have you known Dr. Wells?
Your Honor,
Childhood.
counsel's last 2 questions are relevant to the facts.
Well, the answer's been given. The objection should have been made prior to asking
Thank you, Your Honor.
questions. So I'm going to overrule allow the questions and answers stand.
Okay, once again, how long have you known Dr. Wells?
Since childhood,
And when have you ever heard his voice so shaky like this before?
never before.
Okay, no further questions.
This witness can be excused. Mr. Call. Your next witness, please. I believe Jay Burns. Janice, I'm sorry. You want, Ms. Burns, you want to step right over here first, please. Raise your right hand. You swear firm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. State your name, please.
Janice Burns.
What is your current occupation?
I'm Chief of the Audit Investigations Division of the Internal Revenue Service.
How long have you worked there? IRS.
5 years.
What was your assignment in August of '84?
I was put on a case involving cash fees taken in by doctors that were not paid tax on.
Why were you investigating Dr. Wells?
He was one of the doctors that we believed were not paying tax on their cash fees.
Okay. Did you have a conversation with Dr. Wells?
Yes, I did.
What was that conversation?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is asking a question that will be based on hearsay.
Counsel, please approach the bench. What did you tell Dr. Wells?
I told him of our suspicions and asked him to check into the matter as soon as possible.
Did you talk to him again?
Yes, I did.
And what was that day?
November 15th.
What was the topic of that conversation?
I called him and told him I would be in our Lexington office February 15th and asked him to be there with his books and records.
Okay. Where were you February 15th, 1985?
In our Lexington office.
What did you do after you got there?
I waited for Dr. Wells for over an hour. He never showed, so I asked the clerk if she had seen him. She said he died 3 days before.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions. Yes, questions on cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Burns, isn't it a fact that the reason for your investigation was to determine whether or not the doctors in the Lexington area owed any money in taxes?
Yes, that's true.
Isn't it a fact that you were looking to see which doctors were not submitting lists on payments made in cash?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that you didn't even know exactly which doctors weren't submitting these lists?
We had suspicions
Just
of
answer
Dr.
the
Wells.
question, yes or no, please. Thank you. Isn't it a fact that the 5 to 10,000 you said Mr. Wells supposedly owed was a mere estimate? Just
No,
yes or no?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that you had no proof that Dr. Wells was delinquent in paying his taxes, and that the reason you called him to meet you was because he wanted to look over his records?
Repeat the question, please.
Isn't it a fact that you have no proof Dr. Wells was delinquent in paying his taxes, and the reason you called him was to meet because you wanted to look over his records? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact you were investigating Dr. Wells because he wasn't submitting a list of payments made in cash? But if he didn't receive any payments made in cash, could he submit this list?
I hardly think of doctors not
Please,
receiving
please.
fees.
Just answer the question.
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that your meeting was not till 3 days after Sam's accidental death?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that Mr. Wells had agreed to this meeting?
He asked one more
Yes or
time.
no? Just yes or no. Did he eventually agree to it?
Yes. That's
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Continue on redirect.
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you describe his income tax returns for the last 2 to 3 years?
In 1982, he turned in $15,000 worth. In 1983 and 1984, we had none.
Okay. Do you have any other training that allows you to be an investigator?
Yes, I do. I'm a CPA.
And what does a CPA do?
It's a certified public accountant, and they do audits on books, and they take tax returns in. They do books for companies, all sorts of things like that.
Okay, would you consider yourself an expert in accounting matters?
Yes, I would.
Look for notes, you're an expert in accounting matters.
Any objections to that?
Your Honor, could you please go over his last questions? Because I didn't really understand. I don't understand what he's saying.
He's trying to establish this witness as being an expert in the field and being qualified to testify concerning audits. Do you have any objections to that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so be recognized.
In your expert opinion, did the doctor not receive any cash payments 1 year?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
This witness may be excused to step down and you can have a seat in the courtroom. Defendant, have any further witnesses to call? No, Your Honor. Okay, for the defendant. At the close of all the evidence, it is the court's duty to instruct the jury on the law of the case. At this time, I will read the jury instructions to the jury. I will, at the close, after the instructions are read, counsel will be given an opportunity to make closing arguments, and then I will give these instructions and the verdict to you to take to the jury room to deliberate. Before I read these instructions, the court is going to appoint one of you as foreperson of the jury so that you will not have to do that when you get back into the jury room. A lot of times that takes a lot of time to pick a foreman or a foreperson. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one. I'll have the one on the left, to my left, the one on this end. You will be the foreperson of the jury. When you go back to the jury room, you will be the one to sign the verdict when y'all reach the decision. The sample verdicts, instructions, I have a verdict. I'm trying to find the instructions right now. Okay, it's all included in the verdict. The instructions and verdict are as follows. We, the jury, return the following verdict, and each of us concurs in this verdict. We need to choose the appropriate verdict. Response number one, we, the jury, find for the plaintiff in the sum of $50,000 the face value of the life insurance policy. We are unable to find that the insured, Sam Wells' death was suicide, and also we are unable to find that it was accidental. There's a place for the foreperson to sign if that is your verdict. The alternative number two, we, the jury, find that the insured, Sam Wells, committed suicide, and plaintiff is entitled to the amount of the premiums paid, $650. There is a place for the foreperson to sign if that is your verdict. The third one is we, the jury, find that the insured, Sam Wells' death was an accident, and plaintiff is entitled to the sum of $100,000. And there is a place for the foreperson to sign if that is your verdict. Counsel for defendant ready to make a closing argument.
Yes, Your Honor. May it please the court, Your Honor, counsel for the plaintiff, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. First, we, the defense, wish to extend our sympathy to Mrs. Wells. However tragic this incident may be, we feel that the testimony here today does not prove that this event was indeed an accident. Rather, we feel that the evidence shows that Dr. Wells willfully and with forethought took his own life. Just for a moment, let us review the facts. First, we heard the testimony of Deputy Sheriff Williams. He said that he was a good friend of Dr. Wells. The sheriff claimed that the gun was faulty, but he could not remember if the safety was on or not. He could find no suicide note, but a man trying to fool an insurance company would not leave a note. The deputy and Dr. Wells had planned to go hunting at noon, and we heard both the insurance agent Stevenson and the stockbroker Crow testify that Dr. Wells stated that he needed money by 12 o'clock noon. Could there have been a connection? The next witness was Dr. Daniel Cohen. He stated that he was a good friend of Dr. Wells. He stated that Dr. Wells was 6'2". If the shot was fired upwards and struck him on the left side of his head, all his tissue found 4 to 5 feet off the ground. The next witness was Dr. Sam Wells' widow, Mrs. Adele Wells. She found the door locked. She stated that he never locked it unless he had a client with him. Next was the head of the insurance agency, Mr. James B. Stevenson. His investigation revealed suicide as the cause of death, and he found indications that Dr. Wells had financial difficulties and was being investigated by the IRS. He also reviewed Deputy Sheriff Williams and Dr. Daniel Cohen's statements that noted that they were good friends of Dr. Wells. He found marks opposite the provisions regarding accidental death and suicide on Dr. Wells' policy. This shows that Dr. Wells felt certain that the insurance company would be fooled and that his wife would be cared for. After Mr. Stevenson was the stockbroker Norman F. Crow. Dr. Wells told him that he needed money quickly and that he was having financial problems when he bought his stock. When Norman F. Crow last talked with him, Dr. Wells sounded frightened and shaky as if something was going to happen to him. He stated that he was in a desperate fit. Next was Janice Burns, and she conducted an investigation on Dr. Wells. Based on the evidence and testimonies today, we, the defense, feel that you, the jury, will agree that there was sufficient proof that Dr. Wells took his own life. Therefore, we feel confident that you will render a verdict in favor of the defendant, American Life Insurance Company. Thank you for your time and attention today.
Wish to make a closing argument?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, counsel, and members of the jury. You have just heard the case of Mrs. Adele Wells against American Life Insurance Company. There are two sides to every story, and this one is no exception. The defense, they told you their part of the story, and they told it well. Mr. Crow, one of the defense's witnesses, said that the doctor tried to borrow $6,000, and that the stock the doctor owned went bankrupt. Mr. Burns said that the doctor was under investigation by the IRS because he owed money. And of course, Mr. Stevenson, the agent who sold the policy to the doctor, said that the doctor tried to borrow on the policy. Now, the defense determined from those facts that the doctor took his own life. They are totally incorrect. This is what the evidence really shows. On February 12, 1985, Mrs. Wells came downstairs to see Dr. Wells seated at the kitchen table. After a brief conversation, the doctor went into the library to review a few financial documents. This was the reason the door was locked. And the defense in his closing statement mentioned, how did the shot particles get up on the wall 4 to 5 feet? Well, consider this possibility. After reviewing the financial documents, he went in there, got got out his cleaning materials and set them on the table. Now this man, in perfectly good health, could get down and up off the floor with no problem. He bent down, took out the screwdriver, and was going to clean the barrel. He inspected the barrel before he cleaned it. This is when the gun accidentally discharged and took his own life. In the deputy sheriff's testimony, we proved that the gun was in fact faulty. The deputy sheriff didn't guess the gun was faulty. He was involved in an incident in which his gun proved to be faulty. Dr. Wells, he was in good health, had an excellent reputation in the community. He was a very religious man and happily married. This was not the kind of man who was going to take his own life. The defense would have you believe that Dr. Wells needed money so bad that he took his own life. But look at the evidence about his assets. He had good practice. His house was valued at $45,000. Even though he did take out $15,000 on the house, he still had $30,000 to work freely with. Plus, he had $500 in his savings account and $1,200 in his checking account. No, he was not in such desperate need to kill himself. As the defense stated, he tried to borrow on the policy, and they said he needed $6,000. Now, if you'll notice, when he borrowed on the policy, the stock cannot went bankrupt yet. So he could have sold that stock for $20,000 and made that money right there. So there's no need to kill himself with that. Mr. Crow, as stated earlier, said the doctor needed $6,000. Mr. Crow didn't loan the doctor the $6,000, and he believes that the doctor killed himself on that very same day. If the doctor was going to kill himself, he wouldn't have done it right away. He still had 3 days till a meeting with Mr. Burns to find out how much or even if any amount of money he owed to the IRS. Mr. Burns, the IRS agent, stated that the investigation was not exactly centered on the doctor. It was a general investigation of the whole Lexington area. What I'm trying to say is the doctor might not have owed any money at all. Mr. Burns' investigation wasn't even complete, yet he still comes in here and says that the doctor committed suicide. That is totally out of the question. Now we come to Mr. Stevenson, the life insurance agent. He stated that it was normal for a man of the doctor's age to take out such a policy. And he said it was normal that his company would pay off these policies, but he didn't this time. You see, Mrs. Wells, the late Dr. Wells' wife, has always lived an elegant but not extravagant life. She was never faced with problems such as money matters. The doctor loved his wife too much to let her be worried over such financial problems. And he thought he was protecting her when he took out that insurance policy. He was wrong. The insurance company doesn't want to pay the policy, so they're making Mrs. Wells face all the problems she never had to face before. There are still a few unanswered questions that completely defy the defense's belief. If the doctor's going to kill himself, why not in the woods where he was going hunting so his beloved wife would not find his body? And he still had 3 days till his meeting with Mr. Burns, and he still had money in the bank. So it doesn't make sense to kill yourself over that. I ask you that. Well, I leave you on this note. Be fair and use your best judgment, and we'll be sure you'll come up with the correct decision, which is to award Mrs. Wells the amount of accidental death, which is $100,000. Leave this decision in your very capable hands. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to ask now that you go to the jury room to deliberate. I'll give each one of you a copy of the verdict, although I only want one copy returned or signed. And to be signed by the fourth person who I've appointed to be this man on the left here. He will be the fourth person. When you reach the verdict, let us know. Come back in. Come forward. Let's deliberate on these groups back here. Fourth person. judge's sheet here, so you'll just bear with me for the next few minutes, and I'll give you an opinion. I'm going through it. This is probably the hardest part of the case. It's not so hard to rule on the objections and the questions and so forth. This is the hardest part of the judging. That's one reason why I always wonder why I agreed to do this. But we want to commend both sides and say that both sides were well prepared and gave an excellent presentation. But give me just a few minutes and I'm going to try to evaluate according to the standards set out in our judge's sheet. Some of y'all might not agree with what I decide, but that won't be the first time. Just read it aloud, please.
With the jury fired before the plaintiff in the sum of $50,000, the face value as a life insurance policy, we are unable to find that the insured Sam Wells' death was suicide, and also we are unable to find if it was accidental.
Is that the verdict of all six of them? Did all of you concur in this verdict? You wish to hold the jury, you don't, the court means not holding, to ask if that's your verdict. You wish to hold. I see some of the jurors shaking their head no. That means this jury, this was supposed to be a unanimous verdict according to the rules here. I take it, is this all of yours to see? Did all of you vote this way or agree to this? You want to answer, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict here? Is that?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict? It's not. You didn't go along with them to agree to this. Did y'all vote back there?
Yes.
All of you voted to sign that person. You didn't vote that way? Well, in civil case generally is not required to be a unanimous verdict. In a criminal case it is. I don't want to get into it. The jury verdict is not going to influence the court's decision in this case. I just want y'all to understand that the procedure is when you go back to vote on the verdict, and counsel can question as to whether that is your verdict or not. And that's what I was doing by asking you if that was your verdict. And I know that this young man on the end stated that it was not his verdict. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is correct. This is not your verdict. Send y'all back into the jury room and let y'all talk it out a little bit longer if you want. It's supposed to be a unanimous verdict, so I'm going to require you to go back in there. He's indicated that is not his verdict. If he changes his mind, and y'all let me know that you can reach a decision.
Your Honor, I think let's take the evidence.
They were supposed to take the evidence. Take those certificates of that. Before I tell you how I decide, I want to commend both teams on an excellent job. Last year when I heard the case, I was surprised at how well the students did for being their age. Now, what grade are y'all? Middle school, both of them? Mostly not. In high school, I would make freshmen. You're all in like middle school, junior high school, is that correct? Last year I had to judge one case, and I told them at that time that the hardest thing was not them presenting and ruling on the objections and so forth, was deciding between the two schools. I've seen attorneys sometimes not do as good a job as some of y'all have done today, so I think all of you need to be commended on that, and the coaches and teachers need to be commended as well. I'm not going to release results till the jury comes back in, but I'm supposed to judge based on a performance rating sheet which the statewide high school mock trial tournament provided for the judges, and this is based on standards ranging from 1 to 5, poor to excellent. I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to make these available for y'all. I will tell you that the voting, the totals are very, very close, and I think I've made my decision, but I'm not going to tell you until the jury gets back. But we're supposed to rate you according to these standards set out in this rating sheet. So some of you might not agree that this side did as good a job as that side, or this side should have won, but I want you to realize that I had to do it according to this rating sheet, and that's what I've tried to do. And I want to tell you it's been very difficult to do. I think last year they allowed the jury to break the tie. There was a tie between the two schools, but this year they're leaving it all up to the judge, so I've got to make that decision myself. I would want to explain one thing to the participants in this. There is a statute in Kentucky which is referred to, okay. Y'all ready to start? The jury reached a verdict. The jury reached a verdict?
Yes.
And is the verdict the same as you read before?
Yes.
Each of the 6 of you concur in that verdict?
Yes, sir.
All 6 of them concur. The jury has found that the plaintiff recovered the sum of $50,000 based face value life insurance policy. Unable to find that his death was suicide, and unable to find that it's accidental. Signed by Chris Mike. That's 4 persons. As I was telling you before, there's a statute in the state of Kentucky which is referred to as the dead man statute. Before the competition started, I called the lady responsible, or one of the ladies involved in this, and asked her, are we to consider that in allowing in certain type of evidence? And she said to disregard that. I just wanted to explain to you that a lot of the evidence that was allowed in today would not have been allowed in had that we allowed those rules to be in effect. After I called her, they said when they wrote the case up, they didn't consider that. They forgot about it. So y'all didn't have to worry about it. It's a good thing you did, because it's real confusing. And I did want to let you know, though, that there is a statute which will prohibit certain testimony about a deceased person, about transactions, and about statements that they have made prior to their death. But since we didn't have to worry about that, it made it a lot easier. Well, the court has made a decision, and I want to tell you that first off that I'm not going to release the numbers that I have. I will tell you that basically I've pretty much come up with about a draw on this thing. I had to base my opinion on the overall performance of the team, and I think the one factor which influenced my decision more than any was a team's grasp of the procedural rules and an understanding of the trial procedures. As I've told you, attorneys a lot of times make objections, state their grounds, and so forth, and that's not the hardest part for a court sometimes to make rulings on. In this case, I think that the one side that exhibited a little bit more understanding, or at least it seemed to me, an understanding of procedures and proper questions and improper questions, and I think that was the deciding factor that I had in arriving at my decision, because I felt that both teams were pretty much a tie based on the numbers that I had given each team. And because of, or at least the understanding exhibited by one team concerning the trial procedure, the improper questions, I gave that team the nod over the other team. And so, based on the evaluation form that I have to judge the teams, I have decided that the winner is the plaintiff in this particular case. I do want to congratulate both teams on a job well done. Again, the deciding factor to me was their understanding of the law, or what was proper questions and what was not proper questions, and what objections, stating the grounds for the objections. And I think that was the deciding factor that I had. I had the case rated even except for that. So based on that, I'm going to find for the plaintiff. I want to congratulate both teams for a job well done. None of you have anything to be ashamed of. All the parents in the crowd ought to be proud of every one of them. As I've told you before, they perform better than some attorneys have performed, and have performed better than some of the witnesses that we've had perform. I think some of you might have some futures in law. I don't know, based on what you've done here today. I don't know if any of you plan on studying the law or not, but I think some of you have a pretty good grasp of courtroom procedure and trial procedure, and you could have a future in that if that would interest you. But again, I want to congratulate everyone and commend everyone on a job well done. That's it.
Sorry, West Central. Fade back. Fade back.
I'm not gonna do it.